How's she going right there, eh? It's Denny here from Denny Loves You Outdoors. Just in the backyard at the house. Gonna give another garden update. I did one a little while ago when, well, almost a month ago, I would say, when I was just kind of getting started. And just want to give a quick little update. This was a pile of weeds, was just a big mess, if you remember in that last video, the garden update. So anyhow, carrots are doing really good. I already did one thinning through them. It's probably the best the carrots have been doing. Usually I was putting them in way too thick, so I kind of spread them out a little bit thinner. The onions are doing really well. Early in the spring, before we went away, it was probably like April or late April, I planted 300 onions, 100 white, 100 yellow, and 100 Spanish, and kind of left right here. I have a bunch of volunteer tomatoes growing through. There is some weeds in there. I see the onions are starting to flower and seed, I guess, so I'm going to do a little research on that. So I believe, just like the garlic, I should cut those off, so I probably will. If anybody knows for sure, if they could just let me know, I'll do that. But by having the volunteer tomatoes growing through, it doesn't seem to be impacting the size of the onions, the bulbs. They seem to be doing all right. Here are the peas. They're finally starting to take off. I see there's some pods on there. I'm going to pick some today. And they were planted pretty late. Anyhow, they're doing pretty good there now. Here's 2 rows of cabbage. They all seem to be doing pretty good. There are 2 different kinds. This one seems to be doing better. Usually I plant a row of green and a row of red, but I couldn't get any red ones this time, so thought I'd try these. That one right there is not doing too well. Something's been at it. So like in the last video, I just put a bunch of cardboard down. You can just barely see the cardboard, and then I just kind of cut through and then planted the transplants in, and I'll show you way over there after I just planted some squash right up against the fence. And then probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, I planted spaghetti squash along the fence. And usually when I first put the transplants in, I do not put a mulch around them for a week or so, or maybe 2 weeks whenever I get around to it, so that way it doesn't give the slugs a hiding place. So I let the plant get established, and then I'll put the mulch in after. So in the evening, that's what I'll do. I just did the same thing with these tomatoes a little while ago. There's a volunteer lettuce, and here is the last year's kale. So what we've been doing is I'll have to do it again. We've been just cutting off the tops of the kale, and we've been using that as broccoli substitute, I guess. And it seems to taste pretty good, and I actually like it better than broccoli. And even we leave the flowers on, and when my wife makes some casseroles and what else does she make there? And she uses broccoli, and it's can't think of it right now. Curry chicken. So yeah, the garlic's doing not too bad. I haven't. Oh, there is starting to get some scapes right in here. Here's one, so I'll have to keep an eye out on that. Cut them off, and then the same thing with these ones. This is the elephant garlic on the end here, and you can see the bulbs are all coming out on the top, so I'll be cutting those off here soon. I did try taking the seeds and then putting them in a box and kind of keeping them alone and trying to grow them, and figured it would take several years. It didn't turn out very well. so I may not continue doing that. So here's my strawberry patch, and there was like 3-foot weeds in there, so I finally picked a bunch of them and got rid of them, and now I'm letting the other weeds kind of grow through, and I'll pull them out, and hopefully the strawberry patch comes back. I do also have a maple that is like a maple shrub. It's not a maple tree. It's like an ornamental maple shrub, so I'm going to dig that one out. I'll probably haul it up to the cabin site. I did plant a few of them there the other day. Do have to go through here and do a little more weeding, but it's doing not too bad. And try to keep my shadow out of there. So I think it was a couple of days ago I put these transplants in. So that's what I've been doing. I'll just put them in, get them established. The sun is kind of rises behind me, so on this end, this is where I put the climbing. So I'll put these cucumbers in. I'll let them climb up on the fence so it doesn't shade the garden behind me. And then in a week or two, depending on how well these do, I'll bring in a bunch of wood chips just like this and cover them up. Once they get established, and then the little critters don't start crawling up them when they get the little furry kind of things on the stem, so that kind of keeps them off. Right here is a small little batch of climbing pole beans. They are purple. The beans are purple, and it's kind of weird, but when you cook them they turn green, so they're kind of cool. Here's a little bit of corn that's not doing too well. I'm gonna have to get some nitrogen on them because they're starting to yellow a little bit, but at least now they're established. Yep, there's a slug right there. Get rid of that guy. Yeah, so I don't have the chickens anymore, so probably within a year or so I'll start getting piles of slugs again. Here's another few climbing beans. I just planted them this morning. Same deal, there's cardboard underneath that. I just take an old sharp knife, an old kitchen knife, and I just cut an X in the cardboard, pull it away. You can see the cardboard up against the fence. I try to jam that up there to try to keep the weeds from crawling in off the lawn and the grass. Here is some jalapenos growing. They're not doing very well. And then there's a row, oh, birds. There's another row right here in the cardboard. I haven't put the mulch on that yet. I should do that here soon, but the plants are so small, I'm scared that the slugs are going to start chewing on them, because I had one right over here and it's pretty well gone. There's a tomato plant that we had in a pot out at the front of the house, but I had to haul it in here because the deer were chewing on it. I've never had deer here chewing on tomatoes, but I got several bucks hanging around in the yard, and yeah, they're just kind of goose, and they're eating everything. We flower pots, any flowers we have in there, they're just going to town chewing on them. So that's the spaghetti squash, doing really well. Planted probably 2 to 3 weeks ago, like I said. And these ones here are, I guess, like the green butternut squash. I just planted them. There's can't see it, but there's cardboard underneath that. I pulled all the wood chips back, and same deal. I usually put this at this end of the fence, and once the runners start on these and the pumpkins, I push them through the fence and get them to crawl and sprawl way down here. I know it's hard to see, but there's a big terrace down there, and I usually put the climbing stuff and put it down there and keep it out of this real estate. But I do have to harvest them earlier in the season, because last year I noticed the deer for some reason were in there starting to eat them. Yeah, so I just put a bunch of cardboard over on that end, try to get out of the sun here. Yeah, so I just put a bunch of cardboard. I'm going to plant some pumpkins, transplants. I just stopped right there by that white bucket. I have some beans growing right in here. So basically what I did, I just cut a slit in the cardboard, put a couple seeds in, and now that they're kind of shooting up, once they get big enough, then I'll cover all this up with mulch. I think right in here I had some beets planted, and they haven't popped out yet. Way behind this year compared to normal. It hasn't been all that great of a season. It was actually, it's what, July, man, I don't even know, 12th maybe, 10th, 11th, and it actually was a little cool yesterday evening. So I got this black tarp from a buddy of mine, Ian. Thanks, Ian. So what I've been using this, that's what I had laid right over here, right by that cardboard, to try to kill everything off. And I just pulled a few more weeds that were kind of poking out from the cardboard. And what I've been doing is just keep rolling this out of the way, or I'll roll it from that end towards the center, and I'll just start killing everything. It's working pretty good, but that's probably 3-4 layers thick. And I did start that a little late. I should have started that really early in the spring or late fall. And then right in here, try to stay out of the sun, right in here, I'm gonna plant these plants. I got some more pumpkins, I believe, and squash. I'm gonna put a row right in here up against the fence. This is part of my walkway, and then I'll cover all this with wood chips, and whatever I don't get planted in here, I'm gonna haul up to the wood lot and plant some up there. So basically this is that double cup method. The inside cup, you cut a couple slits, 3 slits, and then the bottom cup, you put a couple rocks or pebbles in there, and what happens is the roots go in and all the water collects in that bottom cup. Now, I've been having to come out and drain them because we've had a lot of rain. Really, this is kind of only supposed to be set up for inside, but I had to haul these out. The asparagus, got to do a little weeding. I see I'm going to pull some asparagus. There's a few, and I just wanted to show, I planted probably 10 little seedlings, asparagus seedlings that I had seeds planted. Really hard to see right there. These are little transplants. There's another one there. Just did a bunch of weeding and through here earlier this morning. There's one right there. So, and this is where earlier in the spring, right in here, this is where I buried all the butchered chickens, really deep. And so asparagus are really big feeders, and so that will give them some nourishment for the next several years. Not going to be eating any of these asparagus for quite a while, because they say you got to let them mature for 2 or 3 years. These asparagus here, I've neglected them for years, and I think last year I put a bunch of compost. I put a bunch of biochar, and then mulched them, and that's the first time I've ever done that. And they got to be 15 years old, and this is the best I've ever seen them do. And my plan is once those other smaller asparagus grow, I'm just gonna kind of fence this little spot off, and so that they don't get knocked over, and I'll just let them take off. And then that little garden right in here, I've had those bucks have been jumping in there. There's really nothing for them to eat in there. All there is garlic that was left over. I'm trying to be able to see this. So I just basically let that part rest this year. Yeah, so that's what's going on. A little bit of a kind of a mess. Just going to do a little bit of gardening early here in the morning because it's a little cool. It was forecasted that it was going to rain, and so I was planning on not heading up to the wood lot, but now that it's fairly nice out, I may pack up and head up there for a night, and if I do, I'll probably do another video up that way. Anyhow, so if you could like, share, subscribe, comment. Thanks for watching. That's the end there, eh?